Well, hello folks, it's Mike here. I just want to welcome you back to Keto Style, and today we got a treat for you. We're going to be making chicken broth, or chicken stock as some people want to call it. Technically there's a difference. Chicken broth is basically when you stew down just chicken meat, and chicken stock is when you take and stew down the chicken meat and the skin and the bones along with some vegetables that we add to it. And typically I put what's called mirepoix, which is a French word. Down in Louisiana they call it the Holy Trinity, which is carrots, onion, and celery. And so we add that to our power cooker with some salt and pepper, and we come up with chicken stock. So that's what we're going to do for you today. So we'll be back with you here shortly as soon as we get all this stuff together. Well, alright, today we're going to do some chicken broth, chicken stock. We're going to take out the good old power cooker, and we're going to get ready and put some chicken breast, or actually not breast, but thighs in there. I've got 12 thighs in the canister here for the power cooker, and I've got some vegetables already made up and chopped up. I've got some carrots, some onion, and some celery, which is also known as the Holy Trinity down in Louisiana, or mirepoix in French. And so that's always good to add those vegetables to your chicken as you're making it up. So let's go ahead and get started with that. The only thing that I'm going to need to do is I'll go ahead and get the chicken, and we'll place that in our power cooker here. And the next thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and get these vegetables. Well, look at that, ain't that pretty? Got them already pre-chopped up and ready to go. And dump them babies in there like that. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add some hot water. I'm going to fill these up. Cover this pretty good. Now also, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've got this filled to the maximum level that you can fill this up in my power cooker, as far as water. And that's what I usually do when I'm making broth. I just take and put my chicken thighs down in there and put my vegetables in on top, and then just fill it up to the maximum on the water. Then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of salt, and probably about a tablespoon of pepper. It has a little bit more pepper than I wanted to add, but anyway, that's okay. And so now that we've got that in there and we've got our water in, we're just going to add our lid to our power cooker here. Get that on, get that set. Now these have a release on them, and you want to make sure your release is down so it will hold pressure. Everything's locked in place. What I typically do on my power cooker is take and set it for stew, and then I'm going to adjust my power time up to like 50 minutes. And then that thing will start to pressurize and begin to stew down these chicken thighs. And so as soon as that does, we'll come back to you and we'll show you how to make chicken broth, chicken stock. Alright, well, our Instapot has cooked down our chicken. We've been using thighs in this recipe here for chicken broth. And so the power cooker has released its pressure. As you can see, this little red button here, that's a pressure release indicator to let you know the pot is not under pressure anymore. I've got the release valve up here pushed, so all the pressure is out. And we're going to get ready and take this lid off. And I want to make sure that water drains out of the top of that. But folks, I want you to just take a look at all that vegetables right there. We got that carrot and celery and onion, and everything's all cooked up, and all the chicken thighs are cooked down and everything. So we're going to get ready and separate all this out, and we're going to take the vegetables out and separate them. We're going to get the chicken thighs out, and as soon as we do that, we'll be coming back to you here shortly. Well, okay, we got all the vegetables separated out of the Instapot. Or power cooker is actually the kind that I use, and we've got a lot of fat left in that broth and everything. We've got the chicken thighs separated out here, as you can see. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to take and put the thighs, now that I've got all of the vegetables out, I'm going to put these thighs back in this broth, and I'm going to cook all this broth, this bones and chicken meat, this chicken thighs, and all the skin down one more time is typically what I do. I usually stew it down twice, and that makes a real hearty broth. And so we'll get all that entered in there and into the pot and everything. And what we're going to do, we're just going to put the lid back on this and begin to stew this pressure cooker down for another 50 minutes. And as soon as that's done, we'll be back with you and kind of show you what we do as far as straining and bottling up the broth. Well, all right, we've got the chicken thighs put back in the pressure cooker. The reason why I don't add these vegetables back in, and once you pressure them down one time, they become very, very tender. And so if you did it the second time, they're liable to start falling apart, and I just don't like that in my broth. So anyway, we've got the chicken thighs back in the power cooker, and we got the power cooker set for another 50 minutes, and we're going to stew it down. Now, I did not add anything but just the thighs. I put the thighs, the bones and the skin back in the power cooker, and I did not add any more water or any other spices or anything like that. I'm just going to stew it down one more time, and that'll make a real hearty, just an awesome flavor, an awesome tasting broth. So just as soon as this thing gets done on the second time on the pressure cooker, we'll come back to you and we'll show you how we strain everything out and then bottle it up and go from there, okay? Well, all right, this baby has cooked down for the second time, and the power cooker is shut off. The button is popped down, so we're going to get this lid off, and I'm going to show you what this broth looks like. Oh, look at that. My goodness. I mean, that is some rich looking broth. Of course, there's skin and bone and everything still in there. So we're going to have to go ahead and start straining some of this out and get some of this broth and skin and everything. And we're going to have to separate the bone too. So everything's still in here, but we'll begin to dump some of this broth out here and show you how rich this is. Dark and golden. Look at that right there, just in that ladle. But anyway, we're going to strain it through this little sieve and try to get most of it out. Now, there will be a little bit of particles in it. There's going to be, some fat for sure, because once you stew it down with the skin and the bone and the collagen and gristle and everything that's in, the chicken, some of that's going to come out in your broth. And if you don't like that, you can certainly take and strain that out, using cheesecloth or something like that if you need to get it further than what just coming through these little sieves are like. But anyway, I'm going to pour some of this up, show you what it looks like in a jar. I just want to show you how dark and rich that is. Man, that is awesome. Homemade chicken stock, chicken broth. And so anyway, we're going to just kind of bottle this up. We've got a little funnel here that we use for canning vegetables in order to pour it up in a quart jar. And but anyway, I believe I can just pour that, hopefully without spilling it. I don't have a full quart. I just wanted to do this just to show you what this looks like. But I want you to look how dark and rich that broth is. That is so awesome. Well, folks, there you have it. There's homemade chicken broth, chicken stock, and it's so easy to do. If you like what we're doing over here, hit the like button. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way we'll be making some other videos, and hit the bell button beside it. That way you'll get notified when we have new videos out and everything. And so we'll be coming back to you again soon. This is Mike over here at Keto Style.